I'm in the mood, I'm feeling rude, I'm feeling hot, I want to run. The feeling exciting, so darling, let's do something. I wanna rub my body on your body. Body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love 'em. I wanna rub and kiss 'em. I wanna rub and jam 'em. I wanna rub and rub 'em. I wanna rub my body on your body. Rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body. Rub my body on your body. I just get paid. I want to play. The vibes is right. I wanna hug up tight. No time to waste. I wanna work my ways. So come on up, babes. Give me a taste. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. Let me rub my body on your body. I wanna rub my body on your body. I wanna rub and love 'em. I wanna rub and kiss 'em. I wanna
Mr. Watts, he is armed himself shots. Shots, watch it, tear gas. Light rounds. Also, I can see that.
Just for Quendon!
The man is a boxer, man. I like to put in a boxer, man, to do that. But since my cousin there, no, you come on the East Coast.
You listen to me.
Right? No, you come on the East Coast.
You listen to me now.
You gotta listen to me too, man.
I am listening to
Right?
you.
Now, I see you on East Coast. The day when they get a protest of them, the next day, that's when you see one bigger heads come up to talk to my family. Right? And that's bad. If we didn't do a protest, then we want to see nobody for justice. You see? I'm not holding back nothing. I'm not holding back nothing. I just need justice for my family. I get visitors all of a sudden.
You watching?
All of a sudden, you all have visitors. This is Joker. Who is that Joker? That piece of plum. They know who to deal with, you know.
All right, you know what happened? I recall growing up as a little boy in the quarantine. When you fall in the trench, you get right back up and you just move on. And so we had a little bit of a not technical problem, but that song with that vehicle escorting the police escorting that vehicle said to be vehicles belonging to Muhammad, and they think that they are got sent to Guyana. It can't happen. We have a country where everyone ought to be treated equally. Story done. I'm not concerned about what you have from what you don't have. And so there's, as you know, on Facebook, copyright infringement. And so that song, we may have gotten clipped as a result of that song. Don't think copyright indeed. And so that's the thing. I don't think those guys are smart enough to get clipped off of Facebook. They're not that smart at all. Have you heard them speak? They can't talk, right? But it's a copyright infringement. And so once you infringe on copyright laws, you will be pulled off. And in this particular situation, I was pulled off. And so we are starting all over again. It's going to be really nice. Let's continue now. What exactly can we start with here? Restart. And let's start off on a good note for Trevor Benn, and a good note for Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford, who seems to be winning a heck of a lot of cases these days. Lots and lots of cases. This guy, Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford, is winning. Trevor Benn, as you know, he's the head of the Guyana Public Service Credit Union, and he was overthrown by some individuals who do not have the credit union and its members at heart. And so Trevor Benn was overthrown, just like the Granger administration was overthrown. They were kicked out. Trevor Benn was kicked out. Trevor Benn fought back. And here it is, Trevor Benn has a victory, because in court today, the ruling is basically that these vagabonds who have what is called some interim management committee, they should not have had any interim management committee. And so the credit union was actually ordered to hold a special general meeting by 24th of October, 24th of next month. And congratulations to you, Trevor Benn. You never give up. The people are on your side. And this interim management committee, obviously pro-PPP interim management committee, they have lost the case today. And compliments of Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford. So Roysdale, if you're watching, Roysdale is also a member of Parliament. He's pretty good with these matters, and I hope that he will continue with more victory. Victory not only for yourself, because I know that's not what you're about, but victory for those whom you represent, and victory for your country. Congratulations again, Roysdale Ford, the Honorable Member of Parliament. He's also Senior Counsel. Congratulations. I can see the smile on Trevor Benn's face and all the others there, because it's a victory for all the members of the credit union and all right-thinking Guyanese. No credit union should be hijacked by any political goons. And that's what the PPP has been doing. They have done the same in Linden. Speaking of Linden, workers have been protesting for equal treatment, equal rights, and all manner of things. And not once have I heard or read in the newspaper that the PPP sent anyone out there in Linden. Obviously, they're not concerned about those things and the equality throughout the country. But if the sugar workers even shed one drop of tear, all of the PPP executives are going to be out there on the quarantine to hug them and chat to them and lick, whatever it is. They're going to be there with them. But the people in Linden are protesting. Workers in Linden are protesting. Not much media coverage, and no one for the PPP is out there. Sometimes I ask myself this question: how can the flatfoot hustlers in Linden sit back and see these things happening and believe that because of their survival, they're going to say nothing? They're going to be pro-PPP all the time. But we've got to stop that. We know who those flatfoot hustlers are. Some of them are brave enough, and some of them are hiding behind some closed doors or hiding behind Dutchy Boat Landing or one of those other boat landing, pretending that they are with the people, when in fact they are with the oppressors selling the Linden, the township of Linden out. We've got to be careful of those people. Again, congratulations to you, Roysdale Ford, and congratulations to Trevor Benn. and all the other legitimate members of the credit union. What else is happening? Let's go to Buxton. Oops. I didn't even say Buxton as yet, and our operator already has that photograph up there so that we can talk about Buxton. Now, recently, the installed regime gave out $56 million to friends and cronies, people who are not contractors. Maybe they're contractors for other things, but they've been given $56 million to do these bridges. And so they're going to go around, get some board, nail up some things, and dab a little tar on it. And this is one. It's finished. $56 million. I just thought I'd give you guys this piece of evidence. $56 million to go around and do these things. Not from people who are trained to be contractors, but just individuals that the PPP just want dash $56 million in their hands and say, hey, y'all do the bridge and y'all try to protect Buxton and you understand? Guyana, I see this quote, Guyana is not a real place. Guyana is a real place. But the people who are currently heading Guyana are not real people. They're just not real people. $56 million, but in other communities, they're going to go and spend hundreds of millions of dollars. But in Buxton, they hand out to a couple of guys who are said to be contractors. Maybe in their own right, they're contractors in other areas, but not to do these things. But yet, you must sit and accept it. And then they got some of them in Buxton and say, under the coalition, they didn't do nothing. You understand? All manner of dotishness. And so that's just another piece of news out there in Buxton. What else it is that we can talk about? Let's talk about this. The acting chancellor of the judiciary. I think by now she should be in possession of this letter. And this letter was written by the DPP, asking the DPP for the magistrate in the matter concerning Mr. Bascom that the magistrate should recuse herself. For no other reason, no reason at all. It's because the magistrate obviously wants justice in this matter and is taking a balanced approach in this case. She has asked the special prosecutor, whom the DPP was the one who actually sent this guy as the special prosecutor. And there's this perception that she wants an outcome favorable to the number one person in this case. And I'll get to that shortly. So all manner of things we're seeing. The DPP wrote to the acting chancellor of the judiciary requesting that the magistrate be removed. Requesting. And she hasn't outlined any legal reason, more or less personal reasons. She says here, Dion Bascom is a member of the Guyana Police Force and is charged. Oh, we already know that. Mr. Mandel Moore, the police legal advisor, here in matter referred to as PLA, the police legal advisor, is appearing for the police, even though he's the police legal advisor. He advised that Mr. Bascom be charged, and now he's a special prosecutor. So he's being paid extra as a special prosecutor, I assume. Here in the matter, before Magistrate Leron Daly at the Georgetown, blah, blah, blah. On the 21st, 2022, Mr. Hughes made an application to the magistrate. So she's basically trying to tell the magistrate how the magistrate should do her job. Not the chief magistrate that is doing this, The DPP believes that she has the power to do all these sort of things. In fact, she doesn't have the power to dictate to the magistrate or any magistrate how they should conduct the case. However, she does have the power to discontinue or have the case brought before a magistrate. Outside of that, the DPP doesn't have the power to dictate how the magistrate should conduct the case. That is wrong. And that is why this situation should be investigated because the DPP is overstepping her boundary. In fact, the DPP is interfering with the judicial process, is interfering with this case by now suggesting to the acting chancellor that the matter should be removed from in front the magistrate for no good reason other than the magistrate said to the special prosecutor that if he doesn't produce the evidence of which she asked on several occasions, he came to court without the evidence. She asked again, where is the evidence? The press conference was actually aired live. Everyone saw that press conference. Where is the evidence? So he felt, this guy felt that because whomever is giving him the power, he felt that he can go and disrespect the magistrate. So the magistrate said, hey, look, follow the police and go downstairs. In other words, in a not so subtle way, the magistrate said that you are in contempt of court. And she placed him where he was supposed to be placed. In fact, he should have been remanded and sent to prison. But no, a few minutes after, she asked that he be returned to the courtroom, and he did. And she says, look, by tomorrow, meaning Thursday, 11 o'clock in the morning, I want you to return with the evidence, with a copy of the press conference held by the police. So by the time they got to the Thursday morning, the DPP already had a plan. And the plan was to remove the magistrate, all because the DPP doesn't like what she is hearing. Now, we can't have a country being run like that. We cannot have a DPP sitting in an office and cherry picking, deciding what matters should be continued, what matters shouldn't be continued, who should try a case and who shouldn't try a case. That is not the purpose of a DPP. She is interfering with this matter. She's interfering with this judicial matter, and she should be disciplined by the Judicial Service Commission. She should be disciplined by the Chief Justice or the Chancellor of the Judiciary. But who is going to do that? But instead, she thinks that she is so powerful, this woman, that she is going to write to the acting Chancellor of the Judiciary requesting that the matter be removed from in front of the learned magistrate. Since when she has that power? She doesn't have the power. Somebody, I don't know, again, which law school did she attend? Look at when she appeared in front of the CCJ concerning the Bisram, Marcus Bisram matter. She was embarrassed because the CCJ, the justices, were basically asking what sort of DPP you guys have. But here it is, guys. Here it is. This is the big picture here now. Why exactly does she want the magistrate to be removed from this case, and that the case be placed in a magistrate's hand that she, the DPP, is comfortable with? That is not how justice should be dispensed. Shalimar Haq. That is not how justice ought to be dispensed at all. This here leads me to believe now, and I'm sure most of our listeners, that there seemed to be some sort of special interest in this. And the special interest in this for the DPP has nothing to do with justice, has nothing to do with fair justice, has nothing to do with Mr. Bascom getting a fair trial. None whatsoever. In fact, we have seen that she is more against Mr. Bascom, maybe for whatever reasons. It could be for obvious reasons. She's against Mr. Bascom because Mr. Bascom, the police detective, Sergeant Bascom, is a whistleblower. And he has said some things concerning the investigations of the Murdoch matter that implicates a security guard of Azardine Mohammed's family's company, Mohammed's Enterprise, and also Azardine Mohammed himself, based on allegations, mind you. And so her interest seems to be only to protect Azardine Mohammed. That is the perception out there. And now, hey, Don't play into the hands of the people who see it that way, DPP. You're playing right into the hands of the people, and you're falling for that trap. And by falling for that, you have exposed yourself as to what you are really about. This here, and again, mind you, that's the perception based on what you're doing. It is the perception. Now, here why. When she writes to the acting chancellor of the judiciary to have the magistrate removed, it is a crime. And the DPP should be investigated for that. She should be investigated for interfering with the judicial process, for interfering with the case, and getting to the bottom as to her proximate cause for such interference will open a big can of worm. And here's the can of worm that it will eventually open. Her husband is the head of the CIOG in Guyana. For those who don't know what CIOG is the Central Islamic Organization of Guyana, of which her husband, Mr. Hack, is a big one and has been a big one for a while now. The Mohammeds are said to be part of that organization. They're said to be big donors of that organization. Here is now the Mohammeds and their helicopter. On the left is Azardine Mohammed's father. They call him Shell. Next to Shell, in that the guy next to Shell is the DPP's husband. You see there, hugging there. His arm is over the shoulder of Azardine Mohammed's father, Shell Mohammed. Then there's that guy in the dark shades, whoever he is. And then in the white shirt is Azardine Mohammed. The other guy on the extreme right, don't know who he is, don't really care because he's not relevant to this. And so I'm showing you guys this so that you can understand the connection. And the connection is what it is, hence the reason. And this is it. There we go again. In front, the man in front happens to be the Mr. Hack, the husband of the DPP. And you see the guy at the back there smiling, is Azardine, right? Is Azardine. And so the question basically is, and now you guys are getting to this here now, right? Why is it that the DPP is so interested in this case? You guys get why the perception is what it is. So since there is this connection, and not allegations of connections, mind you, there is the connection. There is the connection, and she cannot deny that. Therefore, shouldn't she recuse herself from anything at all concerning this matter? I think she should. Hence my reason for wanting to write the acting chancellor and to send these evidence to the acting chancellor, asking the acting chancellor or the acting chief justice to call upon the DPP to recuse herself from anything at all, any matter concerning Azardine Mohammed or the Mohammeds, any matter at all. It is called conflict of interest, and it is not in the interest of justice. As the DPP, she or anyone who sits in that position ought to be independent. They cannot appear to be siding with one side and attempting to bury the other side. In this situation, it is apparent that the DPP is on the path of wanting to discredit Mr. Bascom in every aspect. And so she would do anything legally possible, anything to embarrass and to see that Mr. Bascom is convicted. It is unacceptable. We should all speak out about it. And it is dangerous for an independent judiciary. It is also dangerous for a democracy. And so we cannot sit by or be afraid to speak out when these things do happen. The DPP is on the wrong side of the law. In this particular case, as we have pointed out the evidence right here, that the objective is not to see justice done, but the objective is to sink an individual in order to allegedly now protect another individual of whom she has family ties with, friends and family and connection through the CIOG. It has got to stop. Now, let me see some of your comments, whether you agree with me or not. So you guys get a better understanding as to what is happening here. They are not going to sit by and allow anybody, anyone, as they would want to see it, to go after Azardine Mohammed. And so by any means necessary, they have to do what they have to do in order to make it appear that this guy is the bad guy, when this guy is the whistleblower. Thus far, he has not received any protection from the state. In fact, the state is doing an injustice against this whistleblower cop by attempting to sink him, saying that he's a liar, he's a this, he's a that. They have charged him, they've interdicted him. So he now becomes the culprit. Suddenly he is the culprit. Suddenly he's the bad guy. And they want us to believe that Bascom is the bad guy. I am not going to believe that. I am not going to accept that. I am believing what Bascom has said concerning the investigation of Paper Shorts. He has outlined that this is what is done, this is what happened, and so forth and so on. When he said that he was threatened by the suspect, one of the suspects, in fact, this guy works for the Mohammeds. According to Mr. Bascom, he received a threatening phone call. He reported that to his superiors. They said he should make a report at the Brigdam police station, which he did. He has a copy of that report before Brigdam police station was burnt to the ground. And now I'm beginning to suspect why Brigdam police station was actually burnt. Now, I'm not linking it to the case of paper shards, but I'm just saying with all that we're seeing now, I'm beginning to understand why the station was burned down. I'm beginning to understand why they gave that Jimcock Bring Ramgood story about some prisoner pushed some wire and the wire connected and all manner of things. Now we're getting to understand things, right? And why the DPP chambers was on fire not so long ago, and why the Office of Professional Responsibility in the police compound was actually on fire as well. Now we're beginning to understand these things. And remember, it is this guy, Robeson Ben, who sits there as the Minister of Home Affairs, actually said that he is going to ask the fire service to release the cause of the fire. So thus far, there's no release, and this was since November of last year, or sometime then, almost a year now, and they have not released the report. They have not released the investigation from the fire service, and we know why they are not going to release that. We just know why they're not going to release it. Now, let's get back to Bascom. Let's get right back to Bascom. And the situation with Bascom is about him being the whistleblower, saying what has transpired as it pertains to this particular case. This particular case I am sticking to. This particular case. And now let me say this here. The owner of this body shop or workshop or whatever, I don't know who the owner is. I don't care. But we are hearing that there are some burnt out cars here or whatever. And I have been showing this for a while now. In the interest of transparency, I don't want anybody calling me to tell me that this businessman that he's APNU and he's dead. I don't want to hear crap. I don't want anybody to call me to tell me that. And the individual who called me and tried to ask me not to show this here doesn't have the power to ask me to not to show anything. That individual doesn't have the power. None whatsoever. And I don't want anybody to tell me about who is APNU and who supported it. I don't want to hear that. This is a criminal investigation, and all parties should be pulled in for fitness. All of them, including Azardine Mohammed. All of them should be pulled in for fitness. But the usual thing is, right? The usual thing is. I'm not in the habit of giving out names of who called me and who tried to convince me not to. Nobody could do that. Absolutely no one could do that. But then again, I keep my bond together. I keep my bond together. Nobody has that power to call me. I mean, they can call, but no one has that power to convince me one way or the other, especially when an injustice is being meted out or a fight for justice is on its way. Absolutely no one. So let's get back to this case here now and why the DPP is so interested in discrediting Mr. Bascom. Because they believe that if they discredit Mr. Bascom, then this thing will die away, and possibly Mr. Bascom will die away with the thing that die away, because his life is still under threat. His family members are concerned about him, but Irfan Ali isn't. Irfan Ali has left this guy in the open so that he could possibly be slaughtered. We understand how the PPP operates. Ronald Waddle, Sarsaw, Courtney Crummy Wing, you name it, all under the PPP. Fresh in the minds of people, though, is Courtney Crummy Wing. Is it that they're expecting the end result of this cop, that he ends up being murdered like a Courtney Crummy Wing or a Waddle or a Sarsaw or something of that sort? Is that what they are setting this cop up for? By charging him, taking him to court on frivolous matters? For those of you who probably watched that press conference, the police press conference, if we want to call it a press conference, you heard all manner of things that they said. The crime chief said that this guy is a liar, he's a this, he's a that. He now ended up filing criminal cyber charge against the crime chief. Private cyber crime charge against the crime chief for calling him and basically saying publicly that he's a liar. That Bascom is a liar. This guy said that, the crime chief. Bascom decided now that he's going to file private cybercrime charge against him. And the DPP stepped in to say, no. I'm not going to allow that to happen. So everything Bascom does, she's not going to allow it to happen. It looks as though he would get a fair trial in front of this magistrate. She doesn't want that to happen. She wants the case to be removed from in front of the magistrate, all because she doesn't like what she's seeing. Is that justice? Come on, guys, it's Friday. Is that justice? Is that really justice? We cannot be sitting by and watch certain individuals because they have money overnight or whatever, that they feel that they can run that country, call the shots in that country. We have to speak out. To hell with who they are. We cannot be intimidated. Not at all. Because remember, the radar is on certain folks as well. International radar is on certain individuals as well. So we cannot be afraid to speak out against these things. No one is above the law. Not the Mohammeds, not senior members of the Guyana Police Force, and not even the DPP is above the law. And therefore, we should never be afraid to say it as it is. We should never be afraid. Guyana is heading down a wrong path. And when people see these sort of injustices, guess what's going to happen? They're going to get fed up of the police force, they will get fed up of the judiciary, and they will get fed up of everything. Do we want that to happen? I don't think so. I don't think we want to reach to a point where citizens are fed up because they feel they will get no justice, they feel that they're being railroaded, and they see that a handful of individuals believe that Guyana has now become their plantation. We need to stop those things immediately. I notice someone is saying that Air Finale friend. Of course, they're friends. We see what is happening. Of course, they're friends. It has got to stop. The police got to stop harassing this guy. He has already been interdicted, an injustice against him, all because what? He spoke out. He spoke out. But let us get this straight. They feel that if they go after Bascom, a policeman who is now a whistleblower, they feel that if they go after him and they crush him with the help of the DPP and the help of other so-called financial powerful people in that country, whether they get their wealth overnight or not or whatever, it's for overseas law enforcement folks to gather that information. And maybe who knows, maybe we can see some extradition of some individuals in that country soon, right, Anil? Maybe we should see some extradition. Maybe, who knows, right? But when they believe that when they crush, or if they are allowed to crush Bascom, other cops who want to speak out about wrongdoings will be afraid to come out and speak out because they're watching what is happening to Bascom. They're watching. They have lots of other cops, lots of cops who want to speak out. And what the Guyana police force is saying with the help of possibly their criminal friends in the underworld, what they're probably saying is, hey, we can't allow Bascom to get away with this. Because if we allow Bascom to get away with this, 5, 6 other Bascoms are going to raise their heads. 10, 15 other cops are going to come out and want to speak out. So if they crush Bascom now, then they crush all other cops who want to come out and speak. And so the focus for them is how do they go after Bascom with frivolous charges, with threats on his life, with interdiction, with not allowing him his firearm, all manner of things they're doing in order to persecute this cop so that the other cops them will dare not speak out. That is the objective. That is one of the objectives, mind you. The other is to protect their friend, Azardine Mohammed. That seems to be the other objective, to protect their friend, Azardine Mohammed, in this investigation. Now, during the press conference, the crime chief said that, unknown to Mr. Bascom, foreign security agencies assisted them. Now, I'd like to ask exactly what the Foreign Security Agency assisted the Guyana Police Force with as it pertains to the murder of the case of Fagundes. What exactly? And in the interest of transparency, the police force, they're obligated to say what exactly. And why would a foreign agency, security agency, with this murder that has nothing to do with an outside police force or security agency? This guy is not a citizen of the US, not that I know of, not a citizen of Canada or wherever. He's a citizen of Guyana. So why would an outside security agency be interested in this particular murder? Well, maybe the picture is bigger than we are actually seeing as to why. Interesting as to why. But Mr. Blanham said, the crime chief, that certain evidence was actually given to security agencies, agents from outside of Guyana. He's not saying what evidence. He's not saying that they assisted with evidence. He's not saying who it is. But I could put my head on the block that that is not true. Maybe outside security agents are interested in this case, but not for the reason Mr. Blanham tried to give us. Not for that reason. Maybe they are interested in the case, but for another reason, and not what Mr. Blanham is trying to get us to believe. As we look at the time here, as we really do look at the time here, I want you guys to understand what is happening in Guyana. And that only a handful of people connected to Irfan Ali believe that they can run Guyana. They can run the Guyana police force. They believe that they are now in control. And they are so powerful, they believe that they are so powerful that nobody could touch them. Nobody could do them anything. They believe that they have the police force under control. They believe that they have the judiciary under control. They believe that they have the DPP chambers under control. It has got to stop one way or the other. Is there anything else that I should say before, other than the evidence again concerning the police claiming that they don't have a copy of their press conference? You see the screen to the right is actually the press conference when it was being broadcast live in the police conference room. On top, you see that circle there, that's the camera. That's the camera. To the left, now, to the left is, and if you see to the top left, to the left is the broadcast. They're actually trying to show through their projector, Mr. Bascom, but to the right is the actual video. And this is what they're claiming, that they did not record. Now, I don't believe them at all. I just don't believe them. No matter what they say, I don't believe them. And from here on, guess what? I wouldn't believe anything these guys have to say. I don't believe the charges they bring against individuals. They're cherry picking on charges, and it appears too that the DPP is cherry picking on charges. And so I hope the magistrate would stand her ground. I hope the acting chancellor is going to stand her ground and say no to the DPP, that there is no probable cause or no suitable reason or no legal reason has been given for the magistrate to be removed from this case. None whatsoever. And for that, I say good night to all of you. We've got to pray for Guyana. We really, really have to pray for Guyana, because it appears that a bunch of hooligans have taken over that country. And I really do mean it. A bunch of hooligans have taken over that country. And Anil, if he is in possession of some extraditions, I hope it is signed off as early as possible, and we get the names of those individuals who ought to be extradited to the United States of America. It's all in Anil's hands. Hopefully, the information has not been leaked to the individuals who are actually up for extradition. Some of them already know who they are. All right? Yeah. So have a good night. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you guys on Monday, unless there's an emergency in Guyana that we will bring it live right here on 107.1 FM. God bless you all. And God bless our beautiful country, Guyana. So long.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Making the short video for send to you and the viewers and listeners. All know we punishing in Guyana. Punishing. Rice gone up, sugar gone up, flour gone up, cost of living just gone up, gas gone up from 3,400 to 3,800. Real hungry days under this installed PPP government. Real hungry days we gone back to. Guyanese? Oh! Real hungry days, real hungry days.
Pressure boss pipe. Pressure boss pipe, boy. Umaninja Guyana de underwater. Oh, the wrong. Sorry. Umaninja Guyana de under pressure. What? Bangamere is $400 pong. Cloud $400 pong. Oh, you go buy that with sell back buy. I just come and tell about bisa buy me little fish and mix with me little crab and sell. Thing that just raise, thing just double, the price just double. Oh, bad no.